December the 13th, 2014. Backstory on big cat Blackfish to Lou Ferrante. And you'll find that most of this sounds very familiar because all of these people write us saying, we want to do a story about how you guys rescue big cats. And what they really want is to come along on the rescues, which never works out. And it's because of all of the things that, we're prohibited often from being able to film anything, or law enforcement doesn't want anybody there that's not necessary. And so it's been very difficult to do those kinds of things. But I send them back the same information every time, so this is going to sound kind of repetitive. I think you've probably heard it before. This is an inspiration for why we need big cat version of Blackfish. Blackfish has a huge impact on animal abuse, and then I gave an article. It says, when most people who are pitching such a show call me, these are the questions and answers that we typically give. Are there lots of people still trying to buy tigers as pets? The problem isn't that there are a lot of people looking to buy a tiger. The problem is there are a lot of people who will pay to pet a tiger cub, or to swim with a tiger cub, or to have their photo with a tiger cub, or to see cute cubs on display. They don't stay small and cute very long, so the abusers are constantly breeding or buying more. But taking care of an adult tiger costs $10,000 a year, so the abusers will often give away their juvenile cubs who have outgrown their cute stage to unwitting people who think that just because they can walk the cub on a leash today, that they will be able to do it a year from now. When that cat is about a year old and over 200 pounds is when those owners often start looking for a sanctuary. Sadly, there are pseudo-sanctuaries like Tiger Haven, in my opinion, that has 300 tigers who let some bad actors breed cubs each year and then dump them straight onto them. When we take a big cat, we make the owners sign a contract that they will never possess another wild cat. But most sanctuaries don't take that precaution and are just enabling bad behavior. Where do they buy from? We think the two biggest suppliers of cubs are GW Zoo in Wynnewood, Oklahoma, and Tigers in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but it's nearly impossible to prove. USDA asks for a census, but it's up to the owner to say how many cats they have, because no one really counts them. How often people are calling you because they want to get rid of a big cat? 2003 was the worst year. Let's see, typo. The should be they. 2003 was the worst year. We had to turn away 312 big cats, but that same year a federal law passed that made it illegal to sell a big cat over state lines as a pet. Since then, nearly a dozen states have passed bans or partial bans on big cats. So the number we have to turn away is decreasing. Now the largest problem are all of these pseudo-sanctuaries that fail after taking in more wild cats than they can afford. In this documentary, we'd also like to show how big cats are abused by owners in order to force them to perform. You are never going to see this because training is done behind closed doors, and the abusers know that the public would put an end to their trade if they ever saw what they really do to train big cats. You can see the tricks they use to make the cats think that they have the electric prods in the circus ring, though. These prods are usually a couple of feet long, and they wrap them with ribbons so that the cat knows that if they don't do the trick, they will zap the cat and sometimes even shove the hotshot down the cat's throat. In the circus ring, they carry a stick wrapped with the same kind of ribbons, usually in a back pocket, and whips in their hands to make the cats think they still have the cruel instrument of torture on them. Attached is a list of tigers we know of, but it doesn't include pet tigers because no one counts them. Tim Gress, the man we got Kali Tiger from in Georgia, said he will talk to someone on camera for a documentary about the wildlife trade. His contact details are here. He knows a lot of the bad guys very well. Another very important topic to cover are the lies the animal abusers tell that really confuse and mislead the public. The worst seems to be that they say they are breeding, allowing contact, and exhibiting big cats in order to save the species. This page addresses the lies they tell. bigcatrescue.org/pet-cubs. How lions end up in tacos in America. bigcatrescue.org, lions on the menu, send a letter now. I have an advocate who is updating the cubs who have been born and exploited since 2011. The big list I sent you of the USDA facilities had a tab at the bottom of cubs. This list was what we could find online leading up to 2011 that showed a conservative estimate of 200 big cats born each year for the pay-to-play schemes in the U.S. Dallas Huggins is updating that list with a new one just from 2011 forward here, and I give a Dropbox link. If you look at the census filed by these organizations each year, you won't see their population going up by the same number of cubs they breed, and there is no legitimate place for 200 cubs a year to go. So that's why we believe they must be ending up in the black market. Because really, anyone cruel enough to rip a cub from his mother and pimp him out for the first 12 weeks of his life wouldn't think twice about selling him to a butcher at the end of his money-making days. Signed, Carole Baskin.